So we will start now the workshop about compost toilet, dry toilet and Terra Preta toilet. What is the difference? And now we have a look how the dry toilet is working here. So maybe you don't think like this, but all the time it's really important to make the compost dry toilet as beautiful as possible as you can, because people should use it happily. So this is a simple style with the bucket here and to use toilet paper and to use wood chips. And now this is somehow a type of dry toilet, and I want to explain now how is it possible to transform this into a Terra Preta toilet. And a Terra Preta toilet is about fermentation. So this is a dry toilet. You collect the poo and the wood chips here, and it's working with air. And the Terra Preta toilet is working with no air, like it's working with fermentation. So you can use still like this toilet, like normal, you poo. And the difference to dry toilet is that in the Terra Preta toilet you use the charcoal. So after doing the poo, you just spread a thin layer of charcoal, because the charcoal has a huge surface, and the microorganisms are using the billions of small holes as their houses. And in case you start in Terra Preta toilet and you want to really surely to make it function, you also can spray some effective microorganism, EM, effective microorganism. There are 3 you can buy or you can do by yourself, like yeast bacteria to make bread, and like for milk bacteria, like if you want to do curd, and chlorophyll bacteria. And you can spray them also, and they're just like a Kickstarter, yeah? They just start the fermentation in a nice way. And if you poo and put the charcoal and put some dry material like wood chips or paper or little bit ash or sand or dry soil and the effective microorganism, after some time, if you open the bucket, it should smell like sauerkraut, like kimchi, or like you brew beer, like small sour. So this is the smell of a good fermentation. And here I show you a bucket you can do Terra Preta toilet. It's like the bucket should make sure that it's anaerobe. So this is like, imagine you wanna poo, you open, you poo, like here you can see, you can sit, you poo, and you put the charcoal, thin layer, and maybe effective microorganism, and some wood chips, and close after poo. It's good, no problem that little bit air is coming inside, yeah? Just make it sure that if nobody is pooing, it's really closed, airtight.
You said you poo and then you spread a thin layer of charcoal.
Yes.
Is it better only charcoal or also like chipwood or sand? You mentioned it can be soil, sand, or...
So it's like the thing, it should be not too dry and it should be not too wet. So in case there are people together, they have a really healthy poo, which is like a little bit more dry. Then you put the charcoal, maybe some effective microorganism, finish, enough. But if there may be some people together, the poo is little liquid, for example, it's good to put some wood chips or some dry material. Yes, because think, look, it's like the fermentation is like the microorganism like working inside, like you do a bread or something like this. So it should be not too wet and not too dry.
Okay.
Yes. What about like if you mentioned a spray? You can spray it with
Effective
microorganism. So I would dilute the yeast or the yogurt, the curd, or What was the other one?
How would I make it myself?
Yeast.
Or in water and then spray?
So the thing is that you can make effective microorganism by yourself. It's the mixture. Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea and the world of microorganism is mixing everything, diversity. Yeah. So the balance of microorganism is there if a lot different of microorganism are there. So I think it's not helping if you just put some little curd. Then it's a poo with curd.
Okay.
So it's the interaction between these different kind of microorganism.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So in case you don't know about fermentation, you maybe ask some people around. They do kimchi or they do sauerkraut. They do different kind of or brew beer, because these people already understood somehow how to bring the material to ferment. It's also the smell. So use your nose. Yeah. If something is has a bad smell, it's not good. If it has a smell like beer or like sauerkraut, little sour, it's good.
It's fermenting, it's happening.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question about the fermentation. Does it prevent the flies from coming, or sometimes the worms from coming, or the rats from coming?
Yeah, so for the rats, they really like poo. So in my community, we really have had to close the walls where we collect the poo inside, because we just collect in walls, in a room, small room, and you really have to close fully, because otherwise the rats come inside and they will eat the animals and the shit, and it's not really working. So in this case, if you use a bucket like this, the rats cannot come inside.
Sure.
So the rats are a topic, and normally in case also for dry toilet, for compost toilet, if you use properly, so not too dry and not too wet, some animals will come, and some microorganism will come and will start to work. Yeah. So if you have problem with rats or other animal who eat the worms which you wanna have, you have to close tightly. Yes.
And this is an anaerobic enough bucket, or it should be more sealed? It's
No,
enough.
no,
It's
no.
enough.
Much enough. Some people do also like this.
Ah, okay. It's enough. Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you empty your bucket, your poo bucket, to the other container.
Yeah.
It's-
So this, if this is full, you put aside. You put a new one to poo, and this has to wait 6 weeks to finish the fermentation
Without opening.
without opening.
Yeah.
So some people write the date and then 6 weeks. So in warm climate, it's most of the time more fast. In Europe, takes maybe longer. And to be so if the fermentation is super perfect, you need some experience. You directly can use in your vegetable bed. Yeah. But in case the fermentation, maybe the smell is a little strong still, and you have not experienced, or something went wrong, maybe it's too wet, happen also to us in Switzerland in the community. You put this on the normal compost and let it be there for half a year, something like this, mix with the normal compost, and then no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you need to wait half a year before.
Because poo is dangerous in this direction, that it has bacteria.
Yeah.
So these bacteria have to be transformed fully. So don't put poo to vegetables which you are not really 100% sure that's super good. In each case, in case you are not sure, you can use for trees. Yeah, you open the soil carefully around the tree, maybe in this distance. Yeah, you put this inside and close and water. So the trees you can use also, maybe if the fermentation is not super perfect for the trees, no problem. But don't put directly to the vegetables.
How deep do you need to put your fermentation at the bottom of the tree?
So the thing is, this is also depending of the place. This here now is a dry place, and you have dripping irrigation, which is sometimes giving some water. This means that these trees have the roots very much on the surface. So you have to be careful not too close to the tree, and maybe not deep. Maybe this is enough here. In another place, maybe they give not so often water, but then a lot.
Yeah.
Then the roots will go more down, and you have to bring the poo also more down.
I've heard something about watering the trees. Some people told me it's also a good idea to have the first year watering a lot, and then the second year, no, it's okay. What do you think
So,
about this? If you have-
so my experience is the first 2 years to take care of trees. So in India or also in hot climate here, like it's in Africa. So also Thailand, they told me the experience is the first 2 years you really have to take care, and then you just slowly let them do by themselves. But if you start to have a compost organization and water, this is what they need, yeah? Because the roots, they have bacteria and microorganisms, and this is how they get the nutrition. And if you put compost inside the soil and it's dark and it's a little wet, so the compost and the bacteria can work and the tree can take.
That's why I was asking about the depth.
Yeah, the depth is how deep the water comes. If you put really deep and it's here it's dry, and maybe in the depth it's dry, it's not helping. That's it.
And should we protect with straw or something?
This is one of the basic rules everywhere, actually in Germany or in India or wherever you are, that you normally need the mulch. Mulching is the thing number one, yeah? You maybe make here like this, you put the poo, then you close, maybe you give water, and then you put as much as you can, like dry material. In case you do not have dry material, because this happens also very often, you really can mulch with stones. You just put a lot stones, yeah? Because look, already you can see here, under this stone, there is moisture. Here. There is moisture, still, yeah? So the stones keep the moisture really long. So in case you have no organic material to mulch, you also can mulch with the organic material and put stones on top. Perfect.
Okay. And let's say the fermentation is optimal with the Terra Preta,
Yeah.
and can I directly grow vegetables with it, or can I use it for?
In case the fermentation is super, yeah, you directly can use, but you always connect with the soil. So you don't just put on top. You open a little bit the soil, yeah, and mix the soil with the fermented poo, and then mulch.
Okay.
So this fermentation can work super good, yeah, because it needs still the microorganisms are extremely sensitive to light, so no light, and they're extremely sensitive to dry. So they need moisture and they need dark.
So it's a good idea maybe to have a tree with this
Yeah.
fermentation, and then having other vegetables at the bottom of the tree.
Yes, and also the good news for the European people is, because they really suffer, I know, I'm from Germany, a lot from snails. So we had like invasion of snails. Sometimes you think they are raining from the sky, and they eat all the vegetables in really fast. If you put, this is because our beds are unbalanced. If you put fermented poo or fermented, you can also ferment your kitchen waste, the snails don't like. So you put the fermented fertilizer in your bed and the snails go.
On surface, you mean, in this case? I mean,
Yeah, it's the smell of the
either
fermentation
way,
they don't like.
approach. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe smell.
Yes, and it's what the bed needs, no? Because we use the beds just too much in one direction, so the microorganisms are not balanced, and then the snails are. Actually, the beds, the soil is rotting, and this is why the snails are coming. So with this and the Terra Preta fermenting and effective microorganism, you rebalance the
re-nourish the soil, in fact.
yeah, and you rebalance the microorganism variety, and then not a single animal will come for this and that, because it's the healthy organism. Yeah.
And how can you ferment food waste? The same way as you do with
Yeah, this is a good question. So same, you have bucket like this. So you work in the kitchen, you cook, you put your food scrap inside, and then you press little bit. Yeah, not too much, but just press little bit. And some people put like effective microorganism spray, but also you have not, yeah. If you do with the heart carefully, you have the fruit scrap from the kitchen, you press, so no meat, no eggs, yeah, nothing like that, fruit and vegetable waste. You press a little bit, and some people do inside something like a cloth and maybe a stone that it's still little pressed. You close, yeah, and maybe next day or in the evening again. So you put layer by layer, press all the time a little bit, and if you do like carefully, it's already becoming the smell like fermentation, like by itself.
It doesn't need anything on top, like
No,
apart from
normally
just,
no.
Okay.
No, it's just that in case you feel not really sure or you have really no idea, you can start with the effective microorganism, then you immediately have the right smell for the nose to understand, but it's not essentially needed. You can do also without effective, just collect, press a little bit, make sure that it's still pressed, open, close, and then
when it's full, again, you leave it for some
you
weeks
leave it.
before you can use
6
it.
weeks again.
You use your smell.
And you
use
just open and smell. You can really use your nose. It's really, you will smell. If the smell is like sauerkraut, then you feel like, and if you feel like this, no, then it's not ready. You maybe give to the normal compost.
Okay. And what about like eggshells or orange peel or lemon peel, those things? Should I
So
include them,
a lemon and orange peel, which in some areas like here is used really a lot, is too much for this. So 1 lemon or 2 orange, okay, in this bucket, yeah, no problem. But not 2 kg of orange, because they have this etheric oil, and this is stopping the
Fermentation.
Yes.
Any kind of materials for the bucket? Plastic, wood, anything is working, or
Anything, just make sure that you can open and close.
because fermenting normally the temperature increase, no? It can go up to 70 degrees, so I don't know if some
70
plastic.
degrees is for sure for normal compost.
Yeah.
If you have really a compost pile like this, it easily can reach 70 degrees, but normally a compost pile is outside. In this, so up to now, I did not hear about explosion.
No, yeah, explosion or melting, nothing.
Yeah, I think you do not keep it super long, no?
Yeah,
You
6 weeks.
poo inside, or you put your fruit scrap, and I think that's maybe then 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then it's full already. So you move.
And if you smell it and it's not smelling good, what should we do? Bring
If
some
it's
water?
not smelling good, this is what I said, you can put to a normal compost. Mix with a normal compost. Because to restart, somehow the fermentation will be difficult. Because this is what I said, the microorganism, they are like working with the dominant principle. So if the smell is not good, the dominant of the effective microorganism is like rotting. So this will go on with the rotting, yeah? So if you mix with a normal compost, then you have air and other stuff, and this will completely change, yeah?
Nothing to do with, yeah, there is
This is then a normal compost style. So it's no problem, yeah? You have to try to figure out how it will work. So I was working together with Heiko Pieplo. He is the guru of Terra Preta in Germany. He's a professor, and he is doing this since 10 years. Since 10 years he has a bucket in his bathroom in Germany, in Berlin, and using this bucket, pouring there, put charcoal. He said also, after some time in the bucket there are the microorganisms inside, so don't clean. Don't clean the bucket with soap or something, no. This is the fermentation microorganism. They are inside the bucket, and he said he just put the thin layer of charcoal, and using the same bucket since 10 years, open, close, and he has a huge garden with glass, huge vegetable, perfect.
Okay, now instead of charcoal, can we use ashes? What's the difference?
Yeah, so
What's the difference?
the difference is that this is what they found in the Amazon, that the Terra Preta, to like grow by itself for hundreds of years, to produce again and again compost by itself. It worked because the charcoal has this super big surface and billions of holes, and inside the holes the microorganisms are sitting, yeah, and working and eating and transforming. So the charcoal is the house of the microorganism of the fermentation. So in case, this is just two different kind of compost. If you do compost with the air, it's working with air, it's different. If you work anaerobic without air, it's fermentation. And the special thing with the fermentation is that in case you put this again and again to your bed, and you make sure that some leaves come, some weed, you weeding come, some organic material, the fermented charcoal, the microorganism inside the charcoal will take the organic material and transform. So you have not to do anything, it's doing by itself. This is why they found 0.5 meter, sometimes 1.5 meter humus, yeah, black humus in the Amazon area, because it worked by itself.
So it's good to crush it a bit.
Yes,
Small
yeah,
bits
because it has more surface, more house. Yes, if you don't crush, then just not too much house. Yes.
And if the poo is too wet, as you said, what we can use to balance it a bit is ash or sand or chipwood or any
Yeah,
of these.
so with the ash, it's like just maybe the last option, because you should not use much. It's really, you can just use like powder. So normally it's good just to you collect some dry soil or wood chips or paper, for example, recycled paper, old paper, dry, just dry material. There is ash is the last option. Yes.
Leaves, for example, banana
Yeah,
leaves, coconut
leaves, yes, everything which is dry. And you make the poo like that it's not like water. So the Terra Preta bucket for household in cities, you can have in a tiny house, in an apartment. They always have, most of the time, or people do by themselves, make a hole, and that the lid can go out.
The lid.
And the liquid can go out here. So you press, and then maybe some liquid will be here, and then the liquid can go out. And with this liquid, this is really a super good fertilizer also, you directly can give to the plants. Also inside your apartment, you can give to your pot.
Yeah.
But sometimes it could be urine.
No, you're not supposed to be inside.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, okay,
but-
thank you very much. Thank you, really super important. No pee in this, only poo.
Oh.
No pee, because pee is much too much liquid. Yeah, only poo, charcoal, finish. Or poo, charcoal, something dry in case the poo is too liquid. No urine. If you pee one time already, maybe it's too enough, and maybe you have to put the liquid out.
And about aerobic poo, the dry toilets, I mean,
Yeah.
with air.
Yeah.
Is it the same? You're not supposed to pee?
So with the aerobic to work with air, you can pee happily in case you have a lot of dry material.
To
Because
balance.
also for a dry toilet, the name is dry toilet. That means should be dry as possible. So you can pee, but it's a lot liquid. So you have to put a lot of dry material. Actually, in your toilet, it looks really dry, but you need a lot, no? You need a carpenter where you can take the wood chips all the time. In case you do not have, because many people do not have, you collect the urine here, like this. And this is really a golden liquid, because this is the super perfect fertilizer. It is minimum good as a chemical fertilizer. It has everything inside, and it's directly available for the plants. So the plants directly can take all the nutrition out of the urine. And the urine is sterile. So in opposite to the poo, where you have been careful, you have to be careful. With the urine, you can put somehow everywhere. It's not dangerous. Some people drink. And the only thing is the smell. So if I use urine, I installed 2 gardens only with urine as a fertilizer. Super successful. I personally take 1 part urine and 1 part water. Yes, you can give me maybe here like the same amount, but this is only for people who really take care of the garden and really have a look. So I take 1 part urine, 1 part water, then I mix, and then I give to the plants, and then can you fill with water again? I let it soak. So I did, if you have cucumber like this, I had cucumber like this, tomatoes really heavy like this, I gave every day. And then, so it soaked, and then I put some water on top,
So
that there is no bad smell, because the people should like your garden, no? Yes.
This is your watering. It happens while you water the plant. It's not like a different time of the day or of the week. I mean, when
Doesn't
you
matter. If you have urine, if you have time, you do.
and you can do it every day.
Yes.
every day you give
Wow.
And in case you are not sure is whether it's too less or too much, you can see if it's too less urine, the plant is not really reacting, no really difference. If it's too much urine, the plants immediately will get brown tips in the, and then they're somehow burnt. And then you, okay, sorry. And then you maybe give 2 days or 3 days only water, and that can rebalance, and you dilute more. You give more water into the urine, because also the urine is different.
Okay.
Urine of different people. In the morning it's different to the evening. Then sometimes you cannot use the urine immediately. I have very good experience with using the urine immediately. Every morning I collect the buckets from the bathroom, and happily I feed my plants. But many people, they say, I heard I have to ferment even if it's urine not from our place, and it's good to ferment. I don't know, maybe yes, but it's not needed. So they're happy with fresh
And for garden vegetable, you water every day. In some country or some place there's not so much water. Should you water your garden every day with pea?
So the principle is, in case you have a soil where you put somehow regularly 2 times a year or something like this compost, and you put regularly, you make sure, yeah, that the mulch is all the time on top, and maybe on this top you put also stones, you have not really to water, because the moisture stay inside. To make sure that the moisture is not evaporating.
Okay.
This is the trick.
And is the quantity of the urine you ideally use a bit in accordance to the size of the plant? Like if it's a tree, it has more deeper root system, bigger roots.
Yeah.
Or if it's a smaller plant, you just a
Yeah.
seedling, you use less.
Yeah. So for the trees, I do not normally do not use liquid urine. I use charcoal. I let like charcoal pieces like this or like this. I put them in a bucket and put full of urine and let it soak for 2 weeks. Then the urine is going like in a spong. Yeah, the charcoal is like a spong. This super big surface in billions of holes is taking the urine. And then if I plant a tree or if I have a tree, I just dig maybe this deep that I have the feeling, oh yeah, the roots can reach. And I put the charcoal inside, soaked charcoal with urine, soaked charcoal, and close with the soil, with the mulch, with the stones, yeah. And then the tree can take the urine it uses. So I was successful with this in India. And for plants like this, you directly can give liquid because they have also, the roots are just more on the surface and smaller, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
it's better, deeper roots, it's better with charcoal.
Yes,
Okay.
my experience.
And how often? It can be...
I just did one time, no, because it's a lot of
Yeah,
effort.
yeah,
So yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So that means that the urine stays a long time in the coal,
yeah,
and you don't need to do it.
yes.
As you said,
Longer
one
time depends
I
on which tree, how big the tree is, how much the tree is taking it.
So,
So-
you would say for such a tree like this, like the zapote here,
Yeah.
you could say once a year, and then
Yes, so that tree would be really happy, yeah. But I think this is too close because this looks a little dry. Looks like also the water is coming. Sometimes the mulch is not really perfect, yeah. So I would give the charcoal a little bit, not too close, yeah, not to hurt.
not too close from the center of the.
So not too close, not too hurt, but also here I think already maybe the roots cannot reach, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's maybe here the line, yeah. I would dig and put the charcoal with the urine, and yeah, I think this is the right distance.
And you put it in the bottom of the hole.
Yeah, and close with soil and close with mulch and ideally close with stones on top. Yes. So I really would invite you all people all over the world to have a positive approach for stones because it's actually maybe inside the soil we think, okay, no stones should be there. Yeah, some stones is okay, but for sure on top to use in a dry area like it is here, it's perfect because under the stone, maybe we can look here. Yeah, it's still here. It's still still little wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in feel. I can feel also. So it's really because it's not only the moisture which is staying under the stones. It's also the microorganism can work. Yeah. In this place, this small place where the stone was, the microorganism can work.
Thank you, Ina.